Hey guys, welcome back to the Snapring Chronicles. Today we come at you with another ratchet video. But like always, if you find these videos interesting or you like ratchets and tools, could you give me a like, and also could you smash that subscribe button for me? That would be really good. It would really help me out. Okay, today we have a 1/4" Channellock Ratchet, and it says CR-V, so chrome vanadium, and in the middle to the left of the chrome vanadium it says, looks like the letter OR. I'm not sure what that means. And next to that there's a little circle with an R, so that's registered trademark. So Channellock is a registered trademark. There's no country listed on this ratchet, but I could almost guarantee this is made in Taiwan. Okay, here's the handle. Has an interesting shape here, interesting contours, and it has like a little blue rubber ring around the end here, which is it's like whatever. And like I said, this is a 1/4" drive. It's quick release, so if you're into quick release, you probably think this is a good feature. And this has 72 teeth, and this is how it looks like when it's switching. And it has the 2 holes here, so you can tell that this is a proto style ratchet with the 2 single pawls on each side with springs. But let's take a look inside and see what really makes this tick. Okay, you're gonna need a T8 Torx driver, so that's a T8 to open this up. And it has 2 screws. This is what the screws look like. There's no Loctite on these or any thread lock that I can see. They're just regular small black Torx screws. Okay, and you lift up on the anvil a little bit and the plate comes up. Here's your plate, typical box head ratchet plate from Taiwan, nothing special here. You see the thickness there, and here is the mechanism. You see, like I said, the 2 pawls on each side with springs underneath them, and here's the gear. And just for comparison, I'm going to show you the Pittsburgh Pro standard ratchet. You can see the letters are kind of similar. The Channellock had like tinier letters, but you can see it says CRV here. Chrome vanadium. The switches look like they're identical, and everything looks identical pretty much on these. So I would say that these probably came from the same factory. If I had to bet and say these, except for the shapes of the handles a little bit, but everything else like is identical pretty much. The Pittsburgh has a little ring here around the gear. Has this little ring here, and the Channellock doesn't have that ring. Okay, we'll put the Pittsburgh aside. Alright, this is what the gear looks like on the Channellock. Like I said, it's a quick release. can see that there. You can see the ball detent and how it's peened. It doesn't look 100% centered, but I guess it works. And there are no rubber gaskets on these anywhere to protect from moisture or anything, so they don't have that. And here's inside the mechanism. Looks pretty decent. Looks thick. The walls are pretty thick, and everything looks like it was bored out pretty good. Doesn't look sloppy or anything. Looks like they did a decent job. An interesting thing about, let me grab one of these poles. Grab this spring out. Okay, this is the poles. They have letters. This one says R, and this one has the letter L on it, which to me is, I don't know, it's kind of backwards, because if it's left and right, wouldn't it makes sense to put the left on this side and the right on that side? I don't know. But the interesting thing about this pole, here's a look at it. And it's typical proto style pole. It has the protrusion here that fits in the hole down there to stabilize the pole as it's moving back and forth. But the interesting thing about this pole that I haven't seen in other poles, let's see if I get it to focus here, is that there's a gap in the middle of the pole here. There's two teeth here on the right, and there's two teeth on the left, and then like in the middle, if we can get this to focus, in the middle there you see there's a gap. I don't know why they did that. Maybe that's a more stable pole, a more stronger pole like that, but that's pretty interesting, because if you look at the Pittsburgh, it just has 4 teeth and there's no gap in the middle, so I guess they didn't add that feature. And here's the switch pendulum. It's pretty thick, and it's almost exactly the same as the Pittsburgh, or exactly the same as the Pittsburgh. Okay, and to put this back together, you just take your pole with the little protrusion on the bottom, you stick that in the hole there like that, and you make sure you depress this spring here by switch. That way it gives you room to put the spring in on the other side. Okay. And this could be a little tricky because the spring is pretty small. Let me see, nope. Try to press the spring. Alright. You can press the spring and get it in there like that, and you might want to move it down a little bit further like that, and it should be switching like that. Okay, now you put your gear in, and this is what it looks like when it's ratcheting. And the other pole. Okay. So, and since the teeth are like almost really tiny, I wouldn't recommend any grease on this. I know it's popular for people to use some of that synthetic grease. What's it called? I forget. I have some over here. Let me see. Let me see the name. Okay, Super Lube. It's like a lot of people like to use Super Lube as lubricant. I use it. I've used it, but usually I'm more coarse ratchets, something with a bigger teeth, more smaller tooth count. These tiny, real tiny teeth. I use like an oil, something a little bit more liquefied. I wouldn't want to use something like grease or anything. I don't know, that's just my personal preference. So what I would use on this is probably like a Marvel Mystery Oil. I know a lot of people like using that in their ratchets, and I've used it and it's pretty good. So, or 3M oil. I personally don't use 3M because just for the fact I don't like the way it smells, but it seems like it works. It seems like a decent oil and would be appropriate for something for teeth this tiny, you know. So yeah, now we just close it up. You take your plate, drop that in, take your screws, screw in the plate. Oh, and another difference between the Pittsburgh and the Channellock is that the screws on the Pittsburgh, you see here, the screw is a good deal less thick or thinner than the Channellock, and you can see here, but the screw on the Pittsburgh does have some thread lock, has some blue thread lock there, but you can see it's pretty thin. So I would be careful when torquing down the Pittsburgh, and I would be careful torquing down this Channellock too, because it's a little bit thicker, but it's still a small screw. So I would just get it finger tight, and if you need to secure it, I would put some thread locker in, as opposed to try to really torque these screws down. So alright, that's my teardown and comparison of the Channellock 1/4 inch drive ratchet. Alright guys, till next time.